You've never been kissed? The giant cowgirl asked, stepping closer. Alex had always lived a quiet life. He grew up in a small rural town where everyone knew each other and life moved slowly, like the gentle flow of the river that cut through the fields. He liked it that way. He liked the calm mornings when the sun rose over the barn rooftops, and the smell of fresh hay filled the air. He liked the quiet evenings when the stars appeared one by one and the wind whispered through the trees. But while life was peaceful, Alex often felt invisible. People around him seemed to move through life with purpose, with confidence, while he lingered in the background, watching and waiting. He had friends, but they were few, and they were close in the way that only people who grew up together could be. Yet when it came to new people, especially women, Alex froze. He didn't know what to say, didn't know how to act, and often retreated into himself. That Saturday morning, the sun rose early, painting the sky with shades of gold and pink. Alex had already been awake for hours, tending to the animals at the barn behind his small house. He had a routine: feed the horses, check the water troughs, sweep the barn floor, and make sure everything was in its place. It was simple, quiet work, and it suited him. He hummed a little tune as he carried buckets of water to the horses, enjoying the soft clop of their hooves on the wooden floor. Today, however, would be anything but quiet. He heard the sound of laughter before he saw them. A group of women were approaching the barn, their voices carrying across the field. Alex paused, tilting his head to listen. They were not locals, he realized. Their laughter was bold and lively, filled with a confidence that made him uncomfortable and curious at the same time. He adjusted his cap and tried to appear busy, hoping they would pass by without noticing him. But one of them did notice. The tallest among them, a striking woman with long brown hair that shimmered in the sunlight, stopped at the edge of the barn. She looked directly at Alex, and for a moment he felt as if the sun itself had turned to shine on him. She smiled, a playful, confident smile that made his stomach twist in ways he didn't expect. She was tall, almost towering over him by a good foot, and she carried herself with a strength that was impossible to ignore. Alex quickly looked away, embarrassed that she had caught him staring. "Hey there," she called out, her voice friendly but bold. "Are you the one in charge here?" Alex cleared his throat. I help out here sometimes," he said, his words stumbling over each other. He felt a flush creeping up his neck. She laughed lightly, the sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "I'm Maggie," she said, stepping closer. She wasn't just tall, she moved with a grace that made it clear she was comfortable in her own skin. "We're here to help with the rodeo setup. We could use someone who knows the barn. That's you, right?" Alex nodded, feeling both nervous and strangely excited. "Why, yes. I can show you around." The other women followed behind her, laughing and chatting, but Alex barely noticed them. His attention was completely on Maggie. She had a presence that seemed to fill the entire space, and her confidence was contagious. She walked toward him, boots crunching on the dirt, and stopped just a few feet away. She leaned slightly, her hands on her hips, and studied him with curious eyes. "You've never been kissed?" she asked suddenly, her voice playful but direct. Alex froze, his mind blanked. The words were so unexpected that he could only stare at her, his mouth slightly open. He felt heat rise to his face, and his hands trembled a little as he gripped the bucket he had been carrying. What?" he managed to stammer. Maggie laughed softly, a warm, teasing sound that made his heart beat faster. "I said, have you never been kissed?" she repeated, taking a small step closer. The way she said it, with curiosity and a hint of challenge, made him even more self-conscious. Alex's words failed him again. He had never been good at talking to women, especially not someone like Maggie who seemed so confident and self-assured. He lowered his gaze, hoping she would take the hint and move on, but she didn't. Maggie tilted her head slightly, smiling. "Don't worry, I'm not judging. I find it interesting. You seem like a nice guy, but maybe a little shy." Alex nodded, unable to speak. He wasn't shy in the usual sense. He was careful, cautious, always thinking before acting. But in moments like this, with someone so bold and engaging, he felt completely out of his element. Maggie crouched slightly, getting closer to his level, though still much taller than him. "Don't worry," she said. "I like shy people. Sometimes they're just waiting for the right person to come along." Her eyes twinkled, and Alex felt as if she could see right into his heart. The rest of the group began moving around the barn, setting up tables, tying ropes, and arranging hay bales. Alex followed them, trying to focus on the work, but Maggie stayed near him. She asked questions about the horses, about the barn, about the best ways to secure the gates and feed the animals. She listened to his answers, genuinely interested, and laughed at his jokes, even the quiet ones. By mid-morning, Alex began to feel a strange mixture of nervousness and excitement. He was usually content with his routine, but Maggie's presence made everything feel new, alive. He noticed small details, the way her hair caught the sunlight, the confident way she moved, the warmth in her voice when she spoke. Every little thing about her seemed larger than life. At one point, a horse whinnied loudly, startling both of them. Maggie laughed and reached out to calm it, demonstrating her skill and confidence with the animal. Alex watched her, impressed. She handled the horse with ease, her hands steady, her voice calm and soothing. He realized he had never seen anyone so naturally in control, yet kind and approachable at the same time. As they worked together, Maggie continued to tease him lightly. "You know," she said with a grin, "it's not every day I meet someone who looks like they've lived in a barn their whole life but has never been kissed. That's rare, you know." Alex felt his face burn. I guess I don't know, I never had the chance, maybe," he mumbled, embarrassed but also strangely proud that he was being honest. Maggie nodded, her smile softening. "Well, that's okay, life isn't a race. Sometimes the best things happen when you least expect them." She glanced at him, her eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and encouragement, and Alex felt a small spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, today would be the start of something new. By the time the sun was high in the sky, the barn was almost ready. Maggie and Alex worked side by side, carrying hay bales, tightening ropes, and laughing together. For the first time in a long while, Alex felt seen, truly seen, by someone who didn't rush him or judge him. She made him feel alive, like his quiet life could suddenly be filled with adventure, laughter, and perhaps something even more. As Maggie stepped back, wiping a bit of sweat from her forehead, she looked at Alex and said with a teasing smile, "You know, by the end of today, you might just be ready for that kiss after all." Alex's stomach flipped at the words, but he also felt a strange warmth spread through him. He realized that life could be bigger than he had imagined. With Maggie nearby, anything seemed possible, even stepping out of his quiet, safe world and into one filled with laughter, boldness, and maybe, just maybe, love. The day continued with small tasks and gentle teasing, with Maggie always a step closer than he expected, her presence bold but comforting. Alex couldn't help but feel that something was changing inside him. He was nervous, yes, but also excited. And as the sun began to cast long shadows across the barnyard, he knew that this meeting, unexpected, playful, and challenging, would stay with him for a long time. By the time the first part of the day ended, Alex had a newfound curiosity about life and a fluttering hope in his chest. Maggie had stepped into his quiet world and stirred it in ways he hadn't thought possible. He didn't know what would come next, but for the first time he felt ready to find out. The next morning, Alex woke earlier than usual. The sunlight streamed through the cracks in his small bedroom window, casting a warm glow on the wooden floor. He felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Yesterday had been different. It had been a day unlike any other he had experienced in years. He had met Maggie, the tall, confident cowgirl who had asked him a question that caught him completely off guard. "You've never been kissed." Even now, thinking about it made his heart beat faster. He dressed quickly and made his way to the barn. The air was crisp, filled with the smell of hay and the faint scent of horses. As he approached, he saw Maggie already there, chatting and laughing with the other women. She spotted him immediately and waved, her tall frame casting a long shadow across the ground. Alex felt a small jolt of happiness. She was here and she seemed glad to see him. "Morning, Alex," she called, her voice bright and cheerful. "Ready to work today?" He nodded, feeling his cheeks warm. "Yes, I'm ready," he replied, trying to keep his voice steady. Maggie's eyes sparkled with amusement and she gave him a playful nod. "Good, I have a few tasks in mind and I think you'll enjoy them." As the day began, Maggie immediately included Alex in everything. They started by checking the fences along the property. Maggie walked beside him, giving instructions and encouragement. Her voice was calm and confident, and Alex found himself relaxing in her presence. He realized that her teasing from yesterday had not been meant to embarrass him, but to make him feel comfortable. "You know," Maggie said as they walked, "you seem like someone who has a lot to offer, but you just need a little push. Sometimes people like you don't realize how capable they are until someone shows them." Alex looked at her, surprised by her insight. I guess I've always been careful. I like to think things through before I act. That's not a bad thing, she said quickly, smiling. But life is also about taking chances. You can plan all you want, but sometimes you need to jump in and see what happens. He nodded, feeling a mixture of nervousness and inspiration. Maggie's words seemed to give him permission to step out of his comfort zone. After the fences, they moved on to the horses. Maggie asked Alex to help prepare the saddles and check the bridles. He worked alongside her, and she showed him how to properly secure the straps, adjust the stirrups, and ensure the horses were comfortable. Her hands guided his at times, gentle but firm, and Alex felt a strange warmth whenever they touched. "You're a quick learner," Maggie said, noticing his progress. "See, you're more capable than you think." Alex smiled, feeling proud. He had never thought of himself as particularly skilled, but under Maggie's guidance, he was learning quickly. He even started to enjoy the tasks that he had once considered routine. As the morning progressed, Maggie suggested they take the horses for a short ride around the property. Alex hesitated. He had ridden horses before, but never with someone as confident as Maggie by his side. She noticed his hesitation and leaned closer, her height making her presence even more commanding. "Don't worry," she said softly. "I'll be right behind you. Just follow my lead." Taking a deep breath, Alex climbed onto his horse, feeling the familiar rhythm beneath him. Maggie mounted hers easily, towering over him as she guided her horse alongside his. They rode through the fields, the wind in their hair and the sun warming their backs. Alex felt a sense of freedom he hadn't felt in years. "You're doing great," Maggie said, her voice carrying over the wind. "Relax, enjoy it. Sometimes the best moments in life are the ones you don't plan for." Alex laughed, a genuine, light-hearted sound that surprised even him. For the first time in a long while, he felt carefree. Maggie's presence had a way of making the ordinary feel extraordinary. After the ride, they returned to the barn to help the other women set up the event area for the charity rodeo. There were hay bales to arrange, ropes to secure, and tables to set up. Maggie moved with confidence and efficiency, and Alex tried to match her energy. She praised his efforts, making him feel valued and noticed. "You know," she said as they carried a large hay bale together, "I like having you around. You have this quiet strength. It's rare to find someone who works hard without needing attention or praise." Alex felt a warmth spread through him. Her words were simple, but they meant a lot. He had spent so much time feeling invisible that being acknowledged in this way was almost overwhelming. During a short break, they sat on a fence, sipping water and watching the horses graze. Maggie leaned back slightly, resting her hands on the fence post. "So," she said with a teasing smile, "you still never kissed anyone, huh?" Alex laughed nervously, scratching the back of his head. I guess not. It's just, I don't know. I never really had the chance." Maggie nodded, her eyes softening. "That's okay. There's no rush, but sometimes you have to let life happen. You can't always wait for the perfect moment." He looked at her, realizing that she wasn't just teasing him. She genuinely wanted him to open up, to experience life more fully. He felt a little courage building inside him, encouraged by her gentle persistence. As the day continued, they worked together on various tasks. Maggie showed him how to secure the gates more efficiently, how to guide the horses through narrow paths, and even taught him a few tricks to calm them when they got restless. Every time she laughed, Alex felt a spark of happiness. Every time she spoke to him, he felt more confident. At one point, a small accident occurred. A horse named Rusty, known for his curious nature, nudged a stack of hay, causing it to wobble dangerously. Alex instinctively reached out to steady it, but it was Maggie who caught the falling bale just in time, holding it firmly. The closeness made Alex's heart race. "Careful there," she said, her voice teasing but warm. "You don't want to hurt yourself before the rodeo even starts." Alex chuckled, feeling embarrassed but grateful. "Thanks, I guess I'm not used to having someone so confident around me." "That's the point," Maggie said with a grin. "You need to be challenged sometimes. You can't grow if you stay in your little comfort zone all the time." By the afternoon, the barn was nearly ready, and the women were taking a short break. Maggie and Alex found themselves alone again, arranging hay bales for a photo area. She leaned slightly closer, her presence making him aware of every small movement, every small sound. "You know," she said softly, "sometimes I wonder if people like you even realize how special you are. You're kind, hardworking, and genuine. That's rare." Alex felt a mix of embarrassment and pride. Her words touched something deep inside him. He had always doubted himself, always felt ordinary, but Maggie saw him differently. Her attention and encouragement made him feel seen in a way he had never experienced. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, casting a golden glow across the barn, Maggie stood back and surveyed their work. "Not bad," she said, smiling. "I'd say we're ready for the rodeo tomorrow. You did well, Alex, really well." He felt a swell of pride. "Thanks, I couldn't have done it without you." Maggie laughed softly, stepping a little closer. "You could have, I just gave you a little push. The rest was all you." Alex looked at her, noticing for the first time how close they were standing. Her height and presence were intimidating, yet comforting. He felt a flutter in his chest, a mix of excitement and nervousness. "Maybe," she said, with a playful glint in her eye, "tomorrow you'll be ready for that kiss after all." Alex laughed nervously, feeling both embarrassed and excited. He didn't know what the future held, but he knew one thing for certain. His quiet, ordinary life had suddenly become a lot more interesting. As they finished up, Maggie waved to the other women and called out, "See you tomorrow. Don't forget to get some rest. Big day ahead." Alex watched her leave, feeling a strange mix of anticipation and curiosity. He realized that life, even in a small town, could be full of unexpected moments, challenges, and connections, and he couldn't wait to see what tomorrow would bring. The next morning, Alex woke with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. The sun was just peeking over the horizon, painting the sky with soft shades of orange and pink. He felt a flutter in his chest as he thought about the day ahead. Yesterday had been unforgettable, and today promised even more. He quickly dressed and grabbed a simple breakfast before heading to the barn. The smell of fresh hay and the crisp morning air greeted him as he stepped outside, and for a moment he paused, taking it all in. This was his world, quiet and familiar, yet now it felt alive with possibility. As he approached the barn, he saw Maggie already there, her long brown hair catching the sunlight and her boots kicking up small clouds of dust as she moved. She was chatting with the other cowgirls, but the moment she saw Alex, her face lit up with a warm, inviting smile. She waved at him energetically. "Morning, Alex. Ready for round two?" she called out, her voice full of energy. Alex smiled nervously. "Yes, I'm ready," he said, feeling his cheeks warm. Maggie's smile had a way of making him feel seen, noticed, and somehow braver than he had felt in years. "Good," Maggie said, stepping closer. "Today we're going to do more than just prepare the barn. I want to show you some of the tricks I use with the horses. You'll love it." Alex nodded, curiosity mingling with nervousness. He had always enjoyed working with the horses, but Maggie's enthusiasm made even ordinary tasks feel exciting. They started the morning by leading the horses to the open field for exercise. Maggie walked beside Alex, giving him gentle instructions. She explained how to guide the horses properly, how to maintain balance, and how to communicate with them through subtle movements. Alex listened intently, trying to absorb everything. Maggie's patience and clear instructions made him feel capable and confident. "You're doing really well," Maggie said, smiling. "See, I knew you had it in you." Alex felt a warmth in his chest. Her praise, though simple, gave him a sense of accomplishment he rarely felt. He glanced at her, noticing the way the sunlight highlighted her strong, confident features. There was something about Maggie that made him feel both nervous and inspired at the same time. As they worked, Maggie told him stories about her life, her adventures on different farms, and the rodeos she had participated in. She spoke with passion, and Alex found himself captivated. He had never met anyone so full of energy, so full of life. Her stories made him laugh, sometimes caught him by surprise, and often left him in awe of her courage and skill. During a break, Maggie suggested a short race around the field on horseback. Alex hesitated. He had ridden before, but racing was something he rarely attempted. Maggie noticed his hesitation and leaned closer, her presence comforting yet commanding. "Don't worry," she said softly, her eyes encouraging him. "Just follow my lead. I'll be right beside you." Taking a deep breath, Alex mounted his horse. Maggie climbed onto hers gracefully, towering over him as she adjusted the reins. They lined up at the edge of the field, and Maggie gave him a reassuring nod. "Ready?" she asked, her voice playful. Alex nodded, trying to steady his racing heartbeat. Maggie tapped her horse lightly, and they were off. The wind rushed past them, the horse's hooves thundering against the earth. Alex felt a thrill he had never experienced before. Maggie's voice reached him over the wind, cheering him on, giving him confidence. "You're doing amazing," she shouted. Keep going, Alex laughed, exhilarated. The fear he had felt moments ago was replaced with excitement. He focused on the rhythm of the horse beneath him, the wind in his face, and Maggie riding confidently by his side. For the first time, he felt fully alive in the moment, free from his usual self-doubt. After the race, they dismounted and walked the horses back to the barn, their laughter echoing across the fields. Maggie gave him a playful nudge. See, I told you you can do more than you think. Alex felt a surge of pride. Her encouragement was simple but powerful. He realized that being around Maggie made him feel stronger, more capable, and braver than he had felt in a long time. Back at the barn, Maggie decided to teach Alex some basic tricks with the horses. She showed him how to get a horse to spin gently in a circle, how to make it lift its hooves for inspection, and how to guide it through a small obstacle course. Alex followed her instructions carefully, his hands slightly trembling at first but gradually gaining confidence. Maggie stayed close, her presence reassuring, her guidance gentle yet firm. "You're a natural," she said after he successfully guided one of the horses through the course. "I knew you had it in you." Alex smiled shyly, feeling a warmth spread through him. Her praise made him feel seen in a way he hadn't felt before. He realized that Maggie wasn't just teaching him about horses. She was teaching him to trust himself, to believe in his abilities, and to step beyond his comfort zone. As the afternoon sun climbed higher, Maggie suggested they take a short break. They sat on the fence, sipping water and watching the horses graze. For a moment there was a peaceful silence between them, broken only by the soft sounds of the animals and the wind in the trees. "You're really different from anyone I've met," Maggie said, her voice soft. "Quiet, careful, thoughtful, but there's a strength in you that's easy to miss." Alex looked at her, feeling a mix of surprise and gratitude. Her words were simple, yet they carried weight. He had spent much of his life feeling ordinary, unnoticed, but Maggie saw him differently. I've always tried to stay out of trouble," he admitted quietly. "I don't know, I guess I've always been careful about things." "That's not bad," Maggie said gently, "but sometimes the best moments come when you take a risk. Life has a way of surprising you when you least expect it." Alex nodded, absorbing her words. He realized she was right. He had spent too much time playing it safe, never daring to step out of his comfort zone. Maggie's presence, her encouragement, and her playful teasing were giving him the courage to try something new. As the day wore on, they continued working together, setting up equipment for the upcoming rodeo. Maggie stayed close, guiding him through tasks and giving gentle encouragement. Every time their hands touched while lifting a bale of hay or securing a gate, Alex felt a spark of warmth. He tried to focus on the work, but it was impossible not to notice her, not to feel the excitement of being near someone so confident and alive. During a quiet moment, Maggie leaned slightly closer and whispered, "You know, I think you're learning fast. You might surprise yourself tomorrow." Alex's heart skipped a beat. I hope so," he replied softly, feeling both nervous and excited. Maggie smiled, her eyes twinkling. "Don't worry, just enjoy the moment. That's the most important thing." By late afternoon, the barn and the surrounding area were nearly ready for the rodeo. The women had moved on to other tasks, leaving Alex and Maggie alone again. Maggie glanced around and then turned to him with a playful grin. "You know," she said, stepping a little closer, "you're not as shy as you think. You just needed a little push. Sometimes people don't realize what they're capable of until someone shows them." Alex felt a warmth spread through his chest. Her words, her encouragement, her presence, it all made him feel braver. He realized that he had been holding himself back for years, and now, with Maggie's guidance, he felt ready to try new things, to take chances, and maybe even to open his heart. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, casting golden light across the barn, Maggie gave him a friendly nudge. "Tomorrow will be even better, I can feel it. Are you ready for the big day?" Alex nodded, smiling. "Yes, I think I am." Maggie laughed softly. "Good. I'll see you then, and remember, life has a way of surprising you when you least expect it." As she walked away, Alex watched her, feeling a mixture of anticipation, excitement, and curiosity. He didn't know what the future held, but he knew one thing for certain. His quiet, ordinary life had suddenly become filled with possibility. And for the first time in a long while, he couldn't wait to see what tomorrow would bring. The next morning, Alex woke with a mix of nervousness and excitement. Today was the big day, the charity rodeo he had helped prepare for with Maggie and the other cowgirls. The sun rose slowly over the fields, casting long shadows across the barn and the surrounding pastures. The air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of hay and the soft sound of horses moving in their stalls. Alex dressed carefully, making sure his clothes were neat, and ran a hand through his hair as he thought about the day ahead. He couldn't stop thinking about Maggie, her confident smile, her playful teasing, and the way she had made him feel seen and important. When he arrived at the barn, Maggie was already there, moving with her usual energy and grace. She was checking the horses one last time, making sure they were ready for the crowd and the events. As soon as she saw Alex, her eyes lit up with warmth. "Good morning, Alex," she called, her voice bright and cheerful. "You're just in time. The horses are ready and we have a lot to do before the first event." Alex smiled, feeling a flutter in his chest. "Good morning." I'm ready," he said, trying to keep his voice steady despite the excitement bubbling inside him. Maggie walked over, placing a hand on his shoulder in a friendly, reassuring way. "Don't worry, you've done great so far. Today will be fun. Just follow my lead, and everything will go smoothly." They started by preparing the first event, setting up barriers for the horses and making sure everything was safe. Maggie explained each task carefully, showing Alex how to guide the horses through the course and how to keep them calm despite the noise and the crowd. Alex listened intently, absorbing every instruction. Maggie's patience and encouragement made him feel capable and confident, and for the first time, he realized that he could handle situations that once intimidated him. As they worked together, Maggie told stories about her experiences in past rodeos, how she had learned to ride horses confidently, how she had faced challenges and overcome them, and how she had grown from those experiences. Alex was captivated, listening closely and occasionally laughing at her humorous tales. He admired her strength and her ability to face challenges with courage and grace. After finishing the setup, Maggie suggested they take a short break. They walked to the edge of the field, where the sun cast a warm, golden light over the grass. The horses grazed nearby, their soft sounds adding to the peaceful atmosphere. Maggie handed Alex a bottle of water and leaned casually against a fence post, smiling at him. "You know," she said, her voice gentle, "I've been thinking you've grown a lot since yesterday. You're more confident, more capable, and even a little braver. It's impressive." Alex felt a warmth spread through him. I've had a good teacher," he said softly, glancing at her. "You've helped me more than you know." Maggie smiled, stepping slightly closer. "I just gave you a little guidance. The rest was all you. You had it in you all along. You just needed to see it for yourself." Alex looked at her, noticing for the first time how close they were standing. Her presence was comforting yet commanding, and he felt his heart race. He realized that he was no longer just nervous about the rodeo. He was nervous because Maggie was near, and because he cared about what she thought of him. As the morning progressed, the first events of the rodeo began. Crowds gathered, cheering and clapping as the horses performed their routines. Alex worked alongside Maggie, helping guide the horses through the course and making sure everything went smoothly. He was focused and careful, but he couldn't help stealing glances at Maggie, noticing the way she moved with confidence and grace, her laughter carrying across the field. During a short break between events, Maggie pulled Alex aside. "Come with me," she said, leading him to a quieter area near the barn. The sun was lower now, casting long shadows across the field. She turned to him, her expression serious but kind. "Alex," she said softly, "I want you to know something. You've done really well. Not just with the horses, but with yourself. You've shown courage, patience, and a willingness to try new things. That's not easy for anyone." Alex felt a lump in his throat. He had never been praised like this before, never had someone acknowledge not just his efforts, but who he was. "Thank you," he said quietly. I don't know what to say." "You don't need to say anything," Maggie replied, smiling. "Just know that I see you. And I like seeing the person you are." Alex's heart raced. He had never experienced this kind of connection before. Maggie's words made him feel important, seen, and valued in a way that no one else had. He felt a courage building inside him, a desire to step closer, to reach out, and to show her that he trusted her. For a moment, they stood in silence, the sounds of the rodeo fading into the background. Alex felt the world shrink to just the two of them, the warmth of the sun, the soft breeze, and the steady presence of Maggie by his side. He realized that he wanted this moment to last, to hold on to the connection they were forming. Maggie noticed his hesitation and gave a small, encouraging smile. It's okay to feel nervous, she said softly. It means you care, and that's not a bad thing. Alex took a deep breath, feeling the courage he had been building over the past few days solidify. I do care, he admitted. I've never felt this way before, but I want to try. I want to be braver, to experience more, to be with someone like you. Maggie's eyes softened, and she stepped even closer, her presence warm and reassuring. Alex, that's all I've ever wanted, for you to trust yourself and take chances. Life is too short to hold back. He looked at her, feeling the warmth in her eyes and the encouragement in her smile. Slowly, carefully, he leaned in. The world seemed to hold its breath as their faces drew closer. Maggie tilted her head slightly, her eyes never leaving his, and for a moment everything else disappeared. The sounds of the rodeo, the sun in the sky, the horses grazing nearby. It was just the two of them, standing together in a quiet, suspended moment. When their lips finally met, it was gentle and soft, filled with the nervous excitement of a first kiss. Alex's heart raced, and he felt a warmth spread through him, a mixture of joy, relief, and amazement. Maggie's lips were warm and reassuring, and her hands rested lightly on his shoulders, steadying him. He felt a connection he had never known before, a sense of closeness and trust that made him feel alive in a way he hadn't experienced in years. When they pulled back slightly, both of them were smiling, breathless and happy. "See," Maggie said softly, her eyes twinkling. "That wasn't so bad, was it?" Alex laughed, feeling a mixture of embarrassment and exhilaration. "No, not bad at all," he admitted. It felt amazing." Maggie grinned, stepping back slightly but still staying close. "Good, because that's just the beginning. Life has a lot more in store for you, Alex, and I'll be here to see it with you." The rest of the day passed in a blur of activity. Alex and Maggie worked together, helping guide the horses, cheering on the participants, and enjoying the lively atmosphere of the rodeo. But now, with the memory of their shared moment lingering between them, everything felt brighter, more exciting. Alex felt a newfound confidence, not just in his abilities, but in himself. He realized that taking risks, opening his heart, and trusting others could lead to experiences more rewarding than he had ever imagined. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the field, Alex and Maggie stood together near the barn, watching the last horses return to their stalls. The air was filled with the soft sounds of laughter, conversation, and the distant hum of the rodeo crowd dispersing. Maggie turned to Alex, her expression gentle and kind. "You've come a long way in just a few days," she said. "I'm proud of you." Alex felt a warmth in his chest that made him smile. "I couldn't have done it without you," he replied. "You helped me see that I could be braver, that I could try new things." "That's what friends, and sometimes more, are for," Maggie said with a playful grin. "But don't forget, this is only the beginning. There's a lot more adventure waiting for you, Alex. And I'll be there to see it all." As they walked back toward the house, side by side, Alex felt a sense of peace and happiness he had never known. The shy, cautious boy he had been was slowly transforming into someone more confident, more willing to take chances, and more open to the possibilities of life. And at the center of it all was Maggie, the bold, kind, and confident cowgirl who had challenged him, encouraged him, and shown him that sometimes the best moments come when you least expect them. For the first time, Alex looked forward to the future with excitement, curiosity, and a sense of possibility. He had experienced connection, courage, and joy in a way he never thought possible, and he knew that his journey was only beginning. With Maggie by his side, the world felt bigger, brighter, and filled with endless opportunity. The morning after the rodeo, Alex woke with a sense of calm excitement. The events of the previous day had left a mark on him, one that he hadn't anticipated. He had faced his fears, shared moments of joy and laughter, and most importantly, shared a connection with Maggie that felt both new and profound. He dressed quickly, grabbed a small breakfast, and headed to the barn, eager to see her. Maggie was already there when he arrived. She was arranging some equipment for the morning practice with the horses, her tall figure moving with ease and confidence. When she saw Alex, her face lit up with a warm, genuine smile. She waved energetically. "Morning, Alex," she called out. "You're right on time." "Ready for another great day?" Alex smiled, feeling a flutter of nerves mixed with excitement. "Morning, Maggie. Yes, I'm ready." She laughed softly, her eyes twinkling. "Good. Today we'll take it easy, but I have a few little challenges in mind for you. Nothing too big, just fun ways to practice what you learned yesterday." As they walked to the horses, Alex felt a sense of ease he hadn't experienced in a long time. He realized that his nervousness around Maggie had transformed into comfort, curiosity, and excitement. He looked at her, noticing again the way the sunlight caught her hair, and the way her confident presence seemed to fill the space around them. The first task of the day involved leading the horses through a small obstacle course. Maggie explained each step carefully, showing Alex how to guide the horses without startling them and how to maintain a calm and steady presence. He followed her instructions, gradually gaining confidence as he worked alongside her. "You're doing really well," Maggie said, her voice warm and encouraging. "See, I told you that you had it in you." Alex felt a surge of pride. Her words meant more than just praise. They felt like recognition of his growth, his courage, and his willingness to step beyond his comfort zone. He realized that Maggie had helped him discover a side of himself he hadn't known existed. As they worked, Maggie shared stories of her own past adventures, the lessons she had learned, and the times she had faced challenges and uncertainty. Alex listened intently, captivated by her tales, laughing at her humorous moments and admiring her strength during her struggles. He found himself inspired by her ability to embrace life fully, to take risks, and to find joy in even the smallest moments. During a short break, Maggie suggested they take a quiet walk around the pasture. The morning sun was warm, and the air was filled with the sounds of birds and the soft whinnies of the horses. They walked side by side, occasionally glancing at each other with smiles and shared laughter. For a while, neither spoke, simply enjoying the calm of the morning and the comfort of each other's presence. "You've changed a lot in just a few days," Maggie said finally, breaking the silence. Her tone was soft, almost reflective. "You're more confident, more relaxed, and happier. It's noticeable." Alex looked at her, feeling his heart swell. I think it's because of you," he admitted. "You've helped me see things differently, helped me be braver, helped me believe in myself." Maggie smiled, stepping a little closer. "I just gave you a little guidance. You did all the work. You chose to trust yourself, and that's what matters. That's what makes the difference." Alex felt a warmth in his chest that made him smile. He realized that Maggie's presence had not only challenged him, but also encouraged him to grow in ways he hadn't thought possible. He felt a sense of gratitude and admiration for her that went beyond simple friendship. As the day continued, they worked together with the horses, guiding them through small exercises and practicing routines for future events. Each time their hands brushed while adjusting a saddle or guiding a horse, Alex felt a spark of warmth. He realized that he was no longer just enjoying the tasks themselves, but also the shared moments with Maggie, the subtle glances, the playful teasing, and the unspoken connection that had grown between them. Later in the afternoon, Maggie suggested they take a short ride together through the fields. Alex agreed, feeling both nervous and excited. He mounted his horse carefully, and Maggie followed, her tall frame towering gracefully as she adjusted the reins. They rode side by side, the wind in their hair and the horses' hooves thundering softly against the earth. "You're a natural," Maggie said, glancing at him with a teasing grin. "See, I knew you could do it." Alex laughed, feeling a mixture of pride and exhilaration. "I guess I'm learning from the best," he replied, glancing at her. Maggie laughed softly, and for a moment the world seemed to shrink to just the two of them. The fields, the barn, and even the sun above seemed distant compared to the closeness they shared in that moment. Alex felt his heart race, a mix of nervousness and joy, as he realized how deeply he cared for her. As they rode back toward the barn, Maggie slowed her horse, walking alongside him. "Alex," she said gently, "there's something I want to tell you. I've enjoyed every moment with you these past few days. You're kind, thoughtful, and brave in ways I didn't expect, and I like being around you, more than I thought I would." Alex felt his heart swell. He had been hoping for these words, yet hearing them aloud made him feel both nervous and overjoyed. "Maggie, I feel the same," he said softly. "I've never met anyone like you. You've made me feel alive, confident, happy. I don't want this to end." Maggie smiled, her eyes shining. "It doesn't have to end," she said. "We can take this one step at a time. I want to see where this goes, Alex, and I hope you do too." Alex nodded, feeling a wave of relief and happiness. "I do, I want that too." They spent the rest of the afternoon finishing the preparations for the next day's events, their movements comfortable and natural together. They worked efficiently, yet there was a playful energy in the air. a shared understanding that something had changed between them. Each glance, each touch, each laugh felt meaningful and significant. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow across the barnyard, Maggie and Alex stood near the fence, watching the horses graze. The air was calm, filled with the soft sounds of the countryside, and the sky was painted in shades of pink, orange, and gold. "You've grown so much," Maggie said softly, her voice almost a whisper. "I'm proud of you, Alex. You've taken risks, trusted yourself, and opened your heart. That's not easy." Alex felt a warmth spread through him. "I couldn't have done it without you," he replied. "You've guided me, encouraged me, and inspired me to be better. I'm grateful for everything you've done." Maggie stepped closer, her hand brushing lightly against his. "And I'm grateful for you too," she said, her eyes soft and kind. "For trusting me, for being brave, and for letting me be part of your life. You've made these past few days memorable for me as well." Alex felt his heart race. The connection between them was undeniable, and he realized that he didn't want it to end. He looked into her eyes, seeing warmth, trust, and affection reflected back at him. He knew that this was more than a simple friendship or playful teasing. It was the beginning of something meaningful, something real. Slowly, carefully, he took a deep breath and leaned in. Maggie met him halfway, her smile reassuring and kind. When their lips met, it was gentle, filled with the nervous excitement of two people discovering a deep connection for the first time. Alex felt a warmth spread through him, a mix of joy, relief, and amazement. Maggie's hands rested lightly on his shoulders, steadying him, and he felt a sense of closeness he had never known before. When they pulled back slightly, both of them were smiling, breathless and happy. "That was perfect," Alex whispered, feeling a sense of peace and contentment he had never experienced. Maggie laughed softly, her eyes twinkling. "It was, and it's only the beginning. Life has a lot more in store for us, Alex. I can feel it." The rest of the evening was spent in quiet conversation and shared laughter. They walked around the barnyard, helping the horses settle for the night, and enjoying the soft glow of the setting sun. Each moment felt precious, filled with warmth, trust, and the growing bond between them. As the stars began to appear in the sky, Alex and Maggie sat on the fence, looking up at the twinkling lights above. "I can't remember the last time I felt this happy," Alex admitted softly. Maggie smiled, resting her hand lightly on his. "Me neither," she said. "Sometimes life surprises you in ways you never expect, and sometimes those surprises are exactly what you need." Alex nodded, feeling a sense of peace and contentment. He realized that his quiet, ordinary life had been transformed in just a few days. Through Maggie's guidance, encouragement, and presence, he had discovered courage, confidence, and joy he hadn't known existed. And most importantly, he had found a connection that was meaningful, real, and full of promise. As they sat together under the stars, side by side, Alex knew that this was only the beginning of their journey. With Maggie by his side, life felt bigger, brighter, and filled with endless possibilities. He took a deep breath, feeling gratitude, hope, and excitement for what lay ahead. For the first time in his life, Alex felt truly alive, truly seen, and truly happy. And he knew that with Maggie, the best days of his life were still to come.